Okay, so we're called to order as of 7 o'clock. So Stephanie will take roll.
Yes, sir. Chair Caius,
Present.
Vice Chair Kohler,
Present.
Commissioner Arnold, Commissioner Rodoni,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell,
Present.
Commissioner Murray, Commissioner Loader,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Moody,
Here.
Commissioner Connolly, and Commissioner Savelle.
Present.
Thank you.
And just for the record, since Commissioner Murray has not yet arrived to the meeting, he's traveling and is hoping to try and join us once he arrives at his hotel. Commissioner Moody will be voting, and since the city town seat is empty, Commissioner Campbell will be a voting member as well tonight.
Okay. So Todd, you're in the hot seat.
I'm ready.
Okay, roll call. So agenda review. Does anyone make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
I'll move that.
Move a second.
Oh,
Second, Larry.
Yeah.
Stephanie will take roll again for that.
Yes, sir. Vice Chair Kohler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodoni,
Aye.
Commissioner Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Loader,
aye.
Chair Caius.
Aye.
Thank
And
you.
just for the record, there is no public comment on this item.
Thank you.
Okay, so motion passes. So the agenda is accepted. Next item on the agenda is public open time. Jason, you mentioned there was one person from the public who was on. So Dawn, would you like to identify yourself and speak at this point, or would you like to speak at on a particular item?
I think Don's here just to observe.
Thank you, Jason.
Yep,
So you're just here to observe,
yep.
to see if we're doing things correctly. That's good. I'll try not to make any mistakes, or not too many mistakes.
To be fair, I think Don's here more to give Stephanie any pointers for future meetings to help her out.
Okay. In any case, welcome. Okay, next item is a consent calendar. We have 5 items on consent: approval of the July 27th and August 11th meeting minutes, commission ratification of payments from August through September, approval of the resolution for video and teleconference meetings, accept the GASB 75 report, and acknowledging the addition of Central Marin Sanitation Agencies to the study schedule.
And just for the record, Commissioner Kohler had reminded us we forgot to update in the original packet we put out for resolution 2229, the date to tonight's meeting. We still had last commission meeting. So we just need to make sure that that's amended to incorporate the change from the original packet.
Okay,
By the way, I double checked. It was.
okay, well, thank you, Barbara. So with that in mind, does anyone wish to remove any of the 5 items from consent for tonight? Or if not, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the 5 items of consent with the correction which Barbara and Jason mentioned?
I'll move the consent calendar with the correction. Campbell.
Okay. Jim, do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, Larry, second. Stephanie, could you take roll again?
Actually,
Yes,
can we
sir.
just ask for public comment and so we can say there is none, please?
Valid point. So is there any discussion, anybody or anybody from the public like to make a comment or ask a question regarding the items on consent?
I see no hands raised and no emails received.
Jason, thank you for keeping me honest. Okay, with that in mind, bringing it back, Stephanie, would you like to now take a roll of the commissioners?
Yes, sir. Vice Chair Kohler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodoni,
I'd like to note that I was absent on the August 11th date, but I
read the minutes and understand them.
Commissioner Moody,
Todd,
Todd, unmute yourself.
Aye, here we go. Got it. Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Loader,
aye,
and Chair Caius.
aye.
Thank you.
What about me?
Okay,
Here,
motion
non-voting
passed. Those
members.
items are accepted.
Commissioner Loader is here.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, item number 6 is a public hearing to approve the resolution 2230 annexation of lands connected to 255 Margarita Drive in San Rafael. And so, Jason, I'll turn this over to you or to Jaren to present the report.
I've got this report. So 255 Margarita Drive is an application that was originally in front of us when maybe 2 or 3 of you were on the commission. The rest of you hadn't been. Back in 2015, it was originally connected as an emergency health order due to a failed septic tank. Unfortunately, when they were connecting, they did not follow the plans and the guidelines that they originally submitted to the sanitary district. And we tried to get them in compliance, and that application before I was here was deemed terminated when I started because it was past due and they hadn't asked for appropriate extensions. We've since then had many discussions with the district and with the property owner about trying to get them compliant. We've had several closed sessions on this matter, as all of you may remember from previous meetings. We finally, on September 1st, got an application to get this property properly connected in and annexed into the district. There are 2 outstanding issues at this point, one of which you're aware of. The second one I'm going to make you aware of before I finish my presentation. The first one is the applicant still has not told us how they plan to connect, whether they're using the current easement that exists and moving the lateral over to it, or whether they're going to get a new easement. I unfortunately do not see the applicant or any representative of the applicant present here tonight, although I do see Doris Toy, who is the sanitary district staff who is responsible for this item, is here and maybe can answer some questions on that side. So that is item 1. We don't know which way they are connecting into the system for sure. The second one is something that actually popped up on our radar yesterday. The county surveyor is the one who looks at all the maps and legal descriptions for us to make sure things are appropriate and correct to standards. Yesterday, that person had been on vacation for quite some time, or at least not in the office working for quite some time, and recently just came back and yesterday got us the report that showed there were a couple of errors in the map and legal description that they wanted to see change. I informed the applicant as soon as I got that, and they've told me that they're going to work with the person who did their map and get the corrections needed for us. So one of the things that I'm going to be presenting to you tonight is ask that you do an amendment, and I'm going to quickly do a screen share here for this item to let you know what the amendment is. On your screen, you will see this top section 3 here. We added a condition of approval that they get a complete map and legal description, are submitted to LAFCo no later than December 9th. One of the things that you'll notice in the previous section is we have other conditions about telling us how they're going to connect and doing a proper connection. The district itself also needs them to do, make sure they're submitting proper plans and everything is done correctly and reviewed by them, which we also want to see. So that's part of section 2 is those conditions. This adds an additional condition of the map and legal description. That is to a degree no fault of the applicant in this particular case, because they were told yesterday there's no way to turn around and get a new map and legal that quickly. So normally we get more lead time when those things occur. And to be fair, it is rather common that the map and legal description needs some fixing or changing to it. I want to say about 90% of all applications we get need that. They're just normally, because county surveyor was gone for so long, we didn't get a chance to get those to the applicant in time for them to get it for tonight's meeting. So those are the 2 conditions that we have in front of us. I did put a December 9th for this to be approved. My thought was this commission has had some very serious concerns about this application for quite some time. And I wanted to give them enough time to fix things and get things done correctly. I, however, didn't want them to have a year like they did last time, and then people forget about things, and then all of a sudden we're back in the same place we were at before we got the application submitted to us. So I gave them December 9th, which is basically the day after our next meeting. So if they can't get everything done by December 9th, they will have to come back to us at our December 8th commission meeting and explain to us why they couldn't get everything done. And at that point, we can either give them an extension or we don't give them an extension. I will be saying, we tell them one meeting at a time and they have to come back every meeting until they get this thing resolved, or until we tell them, you're not getting it done, we're denying your application, and we go through the disconnect. We work with the district to get them disconnected. That is my high level report. I'm happy to answer any questions. And like I said, the district manager for the sanitary district is in the meeting as well, if you have any questions for them.
Okay, Jason, thank you for that report. I'm going to start off by asking a couple of simple questions. So Jason, what is your assessment, based on your history with this person, of the likelihood that we will in fact be able to get this through and completed by the December 8th date?
If they wanted to get it done, they should be able to do so. That's 2 months. Either they're going to get an easement signed and they're going to get the paperwork and everything inspected by the district, or they're not, or they're going to move the lateral. My opinion is that could all be done. And if they can't, they can come to us and explain to us why it can't be done. And they should need to explain it to us. I think it can occur, but I'm not a sewer lateral expert. So I would yield to perhaps you, Commissioner Kayas, or to the district manager about what is, if they think that that is an appropriate time frame or not.
Okay, well, I can tell you from my standpoint, from my sanitary district experience and management positions, I would keep them on a very, very, very short leash. But I appreciate your assessment of that. My second question really is to Mala. Mala, what's your assessment and guidance, if any, on this resolution and the positions that we're taking to get this resolved?
I think it makes sense for the commission to move forward with this resolution. As Jason pointed out, those conditions are drafted very succinctly and with a very short time frame, so that at your next meeting in December, if things have not moved, you're under no requirement to extend the condition, and you can not approve an extension, which will make this application lapse. And then it might be helpful to hear from the district general manager what steps the district may be interested in taking at some point if this does lapse and no approval is given.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's open up to the commission for questions. And Rick, I think you had your hand up first.
I do. Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of comments. I had called if I could, through the chair, to the executive officer. I called a couple times today reviewing this, and at a late minute, I caught something else, and I didn't get all the specifics from the surveyor's office. But for the record, I'd just like to add what stood out to me is the legal description. Exhibit A doesn't have the physical address or the parcel number, EAP number. And Exhibit B has the physical address 3 times, but there's no AP number on it. Thank you.
Those are some of the things that the surveyor pointed out as well.
I wasn't sure, so thank you.
And Jason, that was that's related to the added language you put in there, right? That had to be covered.
Yeah, the new section 3 covers
right.
that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. Barbara.
Probably an ignorant question, but to me, I'm wondering why we didn't set the date to December 7th. If we set it for the date after our meeting, then how can we know? I mean, wouldn't it be better to have it the day before the meeting? So if it doesn't happen, rather than the day after, you can say, well, I'm going to get it tomorrow.
Yeah, no, the reason is if he needs an extension, if for some reason he comes to us and says, hey, I've got a contractor lined up, but they can't show up until the middle of December to actually do the work. If we're going to do an extension, if we put the day before the meeting, his application is automatically deemed terminated on December 7th. So we have no ability to give an extension if it's the day before. That's why I put it the day after, because it gives us the ability to do an extension if we want to, but we don't have to give an extension on December 8th. So it's a matter of doing it on the day after, so we can actually give an extension if we want to. But if he doesn't come to us for an extension and he doesn't do things by December 9th, it automatically is deemed terminated by state government code.
Okay, well, thank you for that clarification. That's really illuminating. Thank you.
Barbara, I had the same kind of question and I discussed it with Jason before, so valid kind of thing to wonder about. Rick, you still have your hand up. Do you have another question?
I'm seeing him say no, but he has muted as well, so.
Okay, that's right. So does anyone else on the commission have any questions or comments? If not, I'll open it up to the public. Doris,
I think you have to
representing-
open the public hearing. It's not just public
Right.
comment.
Yeah, that is correct. This is a public hearing.
okay. What did I say?
You opened up public comment. You want to open up the public hearing for comment.
Thank you for correcting me. I'll open up the public hearing for comments from the public. So Doris, I'm assuming you're representing the city of Santa Fe and or the sanitary district. Do you have any comments or questions regarding this? And thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, no problem. I know this has been dragging on for a while, so anything to help to expedite this, I'm here to help. So yeah, I concur. I think the deadline for December 9th would be a good one because I do agree we need to put him on a short leash. You need to give him some kind of a push, some kind of a deadline. I think that would work. I did have my staff try to reach out to his neighbor to see what's going on because he claims that he's been trying to get in touch with his neighbor, you know, drop notes, text, even had his lawyer draft an easement agreement and put in his mailbox. And so I wanted to see for myself if we can get in touch with them, and we did. Our staff was able to get in touch with the neighbor this morning, was able to meet and talk to him. And so his neighbor did admit that he's been busy. So he said that he'll try to get in touch with Mr. Thompson next week. So we'll see how it goes. And we also offered our assistance, you know, if they need some mediator or some help to, you know, get them to agree to some point, we're also there to help them as well. So the other point I wanted to make was, you know, we do support you guys. So our board is actually ready to pull the plug on him and go for a public hearing to disconnect if that's where we want to go. So I just want to let you know, I mean, they talked about January 1st as well. So, you know, we'll see what he comes up with by December 9th. And if you all want to proceed in disconnection, we can do that.
Okay. Doris, thank you.
You're welcome. So if you have any questions, please feel free.
Any questions for Doris? Okay, Doris, thank you. Anyone else from the public have a question or comment?
We have no other hands raised and no emails received.
Okay, then let's bring it back to the board.
You have to close the public hearing, Lou.
You're right, Barbara. Thank you. Okay, but let's close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. So any other comments or questions from the board prior to taking a vote? Okay, I'll just have one comment, Jason. In the resolution down at the therefores, you left out the word commission. So a typo. Other than that, do I hear a motion from anyone on the board to?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 22-30, annexation of 255 Margarita Drive, APN 016-011-29 to San Rafael Sanitation District, parentheses, LAFCo file number 1367, with waiver of notice, hearing, and protest proceedings with the conditions as noted, including the new condition by Executive Officer Freed and the correction as noted by Chair Caius to the resolution.
I'll second the motion. James Campbell.
Okay, Jim, thank you for that. So we have a motion and a second. Stephanie, can you take a vote?
Yes. Vice Chair Kohler,
Yes,
Commissioner Rodoni,
Yes,
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Loader,
Yes.
and Chair Caius.
Aye. So the motion passes, the resolution passes unanimously. So now, Jason and Doris, it's up to you two, along with the other parties, to have this closed by December 8th. And I am hopeful.
So am I.
Good. Okay, let's go to the next item. Budget update as part of the executive officer report.
Yeah, executive officer report, as I normally do, I will just speed through these items. If I see someone raise their hand or wants to ask a question on any item, I will stop for it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna rally through each of them. Budget update. The one thing I will add is, as I mentioned in the staff memo, we actually have now gotten from the county confirmation, formal confirmation that all of our member agencies have made their contributions. So that will be indicated in the next report that you get. You'll see that there's like $1,600 that we were missing. That was 3 small agencies. They did submit their payments in time based on the state government code. So that will all be resolved by our next meeting in the report. Current pending proposals, we do have 1 new application that we've already received for an annexation into a sewer district. And I will add that, as I mentioned, Southern Marin Fire and Mill Valley consolidation of their fire department. They are going through their process. They have some stuff over the next couple of weeks. Each of their boards have a few more things they need to pass. Assuming they do so, we should have an application by the end of October. And that too will be on our December meeting. So I want to kind of point out that our December meeting may be a little bit longer than tonight's, and definitely, could be a little bit longer than our average meeting, because we will have a pretty big application there to deal with, and some other things, such as we have 3 commissioners who that will be their last meeting with us. So it will be our chance to say goodbye to them, as well as the possibility, and a repeat possibility, not a guarantee it will be out yet, but we may be doing the Golden Gate MSR public hearing as well that night. So we're still, fingers crossed. It'll be very tight if we can get it in, but we think we might be able to get it in. Jaren's working very hard to get us to that spot. So we could have a very busy, long meeting in December. So just prepare yourselves for that if all that does show up on the agenda. And I can keep you in the loop as we get closer to the meeting as whether or not that's going to occur. And then finally, you have a Calafco update. The newsletter is in the packet for you. Next week is the annual conference that they put together. Commissioner Kohler and I will be representing Marin LAFCo at the conference down in Orange County. And in December, we'll report out if there's anything exciting that comes from that conference. I'll report to you at that point. Other than that, that's the end of my executive officer's report.
Okay, Jason, thank you. And I'll just make one comment to add to what Jason said. In my discussion with Jason, what we were hoping for, which I think is going to happen, is that tonight would be a relatively short meeting by many of the LAFCo board standards, which is good, but will be offset by the next meeting being a long one. So I figure between the 2 of them, we're still staying within limits, but it's nice to get a few minutes back from tonight's meeting, even though we'll give them, the December meeting, return those, but all is good. Okay. So let me scroll back up to the agenda. Okay, commissioners, open time. Any announcements or requests from the commission? I see no hands raised. There is an item on here that officially has a closed session. Again, in talking with Jason, I believe that considering where we are with the 225 Margarita situation, the closed session is not necessary. Jason, would you concur?
I would concur with that.
Okay, so that's not necessary. And given that, I think we're available for someone to make a motion to adjourn.
Actually, before we do that, you do need to actually make a motion to table the closed session, so it's taken off the agenda, because we do need to take an action of some sort.
What words would you like me to use for that, Barbara?
You're hysterical. I will move that we table the closed session.
I'll second that motion, James Campbell.
Okay, and then Stephanie, would you like to do a roll call for that?
Sure. Vice Chair Kohler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodoni,
Aye.
Commissioner Murray.
He's
Oh,
not
I'm
here.
sorry, Moody, excuse me.
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Loader,
Aye.
and Chair Caius.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passes. So we're officially not going to do closed session for tonight. And so
You
Like a
can
motion
just
to
gavel
adjourn.
at this point.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You don't need to have a motion. You can just adjourn.
Well, then we will then just adjourn. And I have to say, it's at 7:28. So as long as I've been a member of the LAFCo board, I'm not aware of a board meeting, a regular board meeting that ended prior to 7:30.
Well, that's because the chair keeps the whip on, you know.
I don't think that's a bad thing. So with that in mind, unless anyone else has any final comments or questions, or I need to be corrected about anything else, and we'll say we're adjourned as of 7:28.